Hello, and welcome to the Duncan Meerding Open Studio. We're in North Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. This is just a bit of a walkthrough of the August 2020 Open Studio, and yeah, I'd like to sort of show you around some of the stuff we've got on display, older, more established designs, and some new stuff as well. So I'm standing underneath some propeller lights. These ones flat pack down. They were a bit of a design that sort of took a bit of time to execute. The original ones were the aluminium version, and they're actually the droop version, but that are on display. But the very first one was the propeller open in aluminium. But the open version we have on display today, which is the new iteration, is the Tasmanian eucalyptus version. So that one's made and finished in a natural finish made out of Tasmanian eucalyptus. And they flat pack down, and they fit in a very small box. I might actually just grab one while we're here. So that's what this light can fit in, basically. So you can see that it's the flat pack functionality makes it a lot easier to post around the world, and it has its own little graphic box. So that's the original size propeller, and we'll go and have a look at the newer, larger sizes in a sec. Next, we've got a bunch of the smaller product that we developed on display. So this one's a nutcracker. Don't have a nut here to show how it works, but you can sort of see what happens with the threaded timber bolt. Comes down onto a internal hole which has a space to put walnuts and nuts similar to that, and then that's made handmade here in Tasmania. All the things on display here are made in-house, or we outsource to smaller scale manufacturers. So these are the sliding lid tee boxes. They're actually made from repurposed floorboards. We've got a very simple sliding mechanism that slots in and out of that hole. So made from salvaged floorboards, and that's where the tongue and groove is broken off due to the milling process or some other reason that it's been rejected. And from that, they've actually grown into some other new products as well. The whole sort of not floored range, and these are the pedal cheese boards. So this is the larger, the platter sized one, which is suitable for entertaining. We can sort of present things on, and then these are the smaller ones, which are suitable for if you're just wanting to put one small piece of cheese out for a few friends or something like that. And then behind that we've got the Libby lamp. That's one of the earlier designs that I came up with in 2009, and sort of developed since then a bit. And then just above me there's the cracked log branch light, and so that's one of the new ones that our small team has sort of put together for this presentation, and it's it opens up a new range of things that we can sort of execute, and it's very much like a bit of a decorative lighting piece. And then there's another installation piece, or there's an installation piece here, which is the spirals off-kilter installation. So this one actually can flat pack down into about 3 family-sized pizza boxes, and that, alongside the propeller bloom, which we'll be looking at in a minute, went to Milan in a crate, and in a 1.1 metre cube crate. So that, alongside a bunch of other things that filled up the space, filled up the display trade show booth of Eurolicce in Milan, went over in flat pack form. So this one flat packs, but it's also quite a large installation. As you can see, it's my height, about 1.8 metres, and about 600 millimetres in terms of its footprint, 600 millimetres square. So the propeller bloom takes the idea that I was talking about a second ago, which is the old propeller open and propeller droop, and it expands it into basically a showpiece. It's very much a sculptural light installation. It's about 1.1 metres cubed, and it also flat packs, and went to the 2017 Milan Euroluce trade show. So now on to another one of the new designs. So the cracked branch light was one of the new designs. This is another one which is sort of a continuation on an old theme, but into a new form factor and new sort of iteration in that sort of thought pattern. And so the spirals off kilter light installation we just looked at, this is the other end of the scale, and it's miniature versions of that sort of concept and made into a sort of a chandelier installation. So that's made from Tasmanian eucalyptus as well, and yeah, it's very much a installation where the little lights work well with each other. So there's about 6 little box lights there, and the spirals name actually comes from where the way the horizontal slots sort of spiral around the actual box structure, and when there's only those lights on, there's quite an interesting light pattern thrown by them. And then we've got the propeller blossom here, which is in between that giant propeller bloom we just saw and the propeller opens, and that is flat packed as well, and that actually came over in my suitcase to Milan in 2019, and that was alongside a range of other lights. I actually took about 7 lights in my suitcase to that trade show and to that showcase at Euroluce, and didn't actually have much room for things like clothes, but that is about 85 centimetres in diameter, and it's quite suitable for feature lighting in entranceways or larger ceilinged areas. And then immediately below that, you can sort of see how the light comes out the bottom of these. It's a bit harder because it's not such a huge light source above it with the propeller blossom, but what you can see here is the stunt lights, and they won the best floor light in 2018 at the Dark Awards. It was voted the best floor light of 2018 by over 6,000 industry peers of lighting designers, architects and interior designers, and they're suitable for indoor outdoor installation and can be sat on or used as a table, and they're made from salvaged macrocarpa, where it's I think in some parts of the world it's referred to as a type of cypress as well. So they're related to some of the cypresses. From that, we now have another horizontal light, like the other one we were looking at before, but this one's very much more of a functional light. But if you're looking at it immediately from sort of head height, the way the light's been put in there means that you don't have a blinding light shone straight in your face, which I'm quite passionate about. I think a lot of people are. If you've got light straight in your face, it's a bit uncomfortable, and we've used a warm white LED with dot-free light, so it's very consistent underneath this particular light. And that's made from horizontal scrub, which is a Tasmanian timber. Yeah, it's just another new light that's just been shown at this open studio. And that's the first prototype, but the type of way that's made, it's possible to make it in different sizes as well. And then we've got the different downlights here. The cylinder downlights, they're about 320 millimeters long and 80 millimeters wide, and they've got a really interesting sort of star LED, tight beamed LED downlight system that mean that when you're sitting down you don't get the light straight in your eyes, but because it's such a high intensity light source, as it hits a surface it throws the light out and around, so it very much creates a nice relaxing mood light. And that's another new light that this is the first place it's been shown as this open studio. And alongside that it's got the X8 table, which is directly underneath it, and the X8 stools. And so the X8 stools have actually got a bridle joint in them. And it's quite a interesting joint because we've been able to make a bit of a feature of it within the design. but it also gives it a lot of rigidity. So I'm giving a good sort of wiggle of that joint, and it's very strong. And it's got a pin there just for extra insurance in terms of its strength. So that's again handmade in our studio in North Hobart, and they also can stack if people were wanting to put them away somewhere in their in their house or in event spaces or what have you. And then we've got the cracked log wall sconce. And the first time these were ever shown were again in Luce in 2019, and they but this is the sort of official launch of them at the Open Studio. And I've got a directional light source again, which means you don't get so much light coming straight at you, but you can see through the cracks that it still has that nice lighting effect. And so they can be installed with the light either pointing downwards or upwards. And yeah, that's again made from salvaged logs. And yeah, that's been sort of a bit of a journey getting that one to the stage where it is, but quite happy with the result. And finally, I suppose we'll go to where it all sort of started, I suppose, which is the ones that aren't on actually. So I'll just quickly flip one on. And so that's the cracked log light, and that's the original one there. And so that's sort of where a lot of the log light, the cracked log light sort of range was born from, I suppose. And that was sort of the original idea came about in 2009 when I was looking at a piece of wood that I couldn't use for anything else. It had cracks in it. Cracks are often associated with waste in timber craft or timber design. And I made a feature of that where the darkness was, and made that place where the light came from. And so that's made from salvaged timber, salvaged logs. And yeah, I suppose it's an interesting thing to go back to the thing where sort of the Duncan Meerding sort of design sort of story started, and sort of finished the Open Studio tour with that. Thanks for coming.